down the ACC route. I think it's the only sensible way of addressing this issue.
Madam Chair, I call Jan Logie.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So in this intervention, I'd like to briefly introduce my SOP, which reflects the submissions that were made to the Select Committee, but because we didn't have a majority on the committee, we weren't able to return the bill in a way that reflected that. So my SOP number 39, makes the changes that were recommended in committee, or would have been. So in effect, in that SOP, we are recommending that we change 3 pieces of legislation: the Employment Relations Act, the Holidays Act, and the Human Rights Act. And what that will do is altogether provide a framework for employers to work out how they support their staff who are currently impacted by domestic violence. And I do want to pick up on some of the points raised by the previous speaker, that employers shouldn't have to pay for the violence of perpetrators. Well, the misnomer in that, because that sounds rational, and I think we'd all support that concept, but the problem is that they are paying right now, because domestic violence doesn't just happen in the home, it happens between people, wherever those people are. And we have a huge amount of evidence now from years of research that tells us about the impact of that domestic violence in workplaces, where victims are stalked in their workplaces, where they are sabotaged from attending work or performing in their jobs by their abusers, and that they are also often harassed in the workplace. That is happening right now, and we know from the evidence that employers don't generally, most of them, don't know how to deal with it. They either don't recognise that it's happening and understand the impact on their workplace, or if they do, they're not sure what to do. They want to support their staff members, but they're just not quite sure how to do it. So part of what this legislation does is provide them with the framework to walk through supporting that staff member. That in turn increases the productivity, reduces staff turnover, and improves the entire workplace culture. There is significant benefits to those employers, as well as to us as a country, but most importantly to the victims. And I am really, really clear that I want every single victim in this country to have access to those protections. I don't want to continue with the status quo where it is a matter of luck whether you have an employer that understands this and offers the victims the support. And I do want to, too, challenge the point that this is just overwhelming and too difficult for small businesses. Well, actually, I've heard from small businesses who often tell me that they have almost a family-like relationship with their staff because it's a small team. So actually, for them to be able to support their staff members if they were given a framework is easier than it is for a large company that has to set up quite complicated HR systems to be able to ensure that that understanding filters all the way through their workplace. The cost on businesses and small businesses is actually less. And what we know from, and I've certainly spoken to small employers who have given their staff time off when they've needed it and have supported them because they've had that knowledge. And we've seen over in Australia where 1.6 million workers are covered by these type of policies already, that not one business, have I seen a report of one business going out of business because of those policies in action. Actually, it reduces the stress on the employers as well as the victims. But of course, the primary purpose of this is to address the impacts of domestic violence and to provide a path pathway to safety for victims, because 1 in 3 women are affected by this at the moment, and it's got to stop, and we all have to play a role in doing that.
Madam Chair. I call the Honourable Tracy Martin.
Madam Chair, thank you very much. Just